the Elemental and the Gnome hanging on the mechs, and they made a challenge against the Stinger. The Ebon Jaguar made a challenge against the Thunderbolt, the Huntsman challenged the Crusader, and the Huntsman tried to shoot the Crusader, but it was all miss. The Crusader shot the Huntsman and hit with an LRM-15, and all the rocket was hitting the right torso. The Thunderbolt shot the Ebon Jaguar and hit with a large laser. Meanwhile, the Huntsman shot the Crusader and hit it with a UAC-2, and both bullet was hitting. And the Ebon Jaguar was shooting the Thunderbolt and hitting it with an LRM-10. The Stinger is hopping closer. The Elemental and Gnome is disembarking from the mechs. The Huntsman was shooting the Crusader and missing. The Ebon Jaguar was shooting the Thunderbolt and hitting with a Gauss rifle. The Crusader, Orion and Thunderbolt is breaking the Zellbringen and shooting the Huntsman. The Crusader was missing. The Orion hitting the Huntsman with an LRM-15, and in total it was 12 rockets. And the Thunderbolt also hitting the Huntsman with an LRM-15, and only 4 rocket was hitting the Huntsman. The Stinger is hopping into the crossfire of the Gnome and Elemental, but the Gnome is missing, and the Elemental is hitting with a laser and SRM, and the one SRM was a headshot. Meanwhile, the Ebon Jaguar was shooting the Crusader and hitting with an LRM-10 and the LB-5X, and one pellet was a headshot. The Huntsman was shooting the Thunderbolt into the back after hopping behind it, but only a Streak 6 was hitting and managed to heat himself up. Meanwhile, the Crusader and Orion was shooting the Huntsman. The Crusader is hitting with 2 LRM-15 and the Orion was hitting with an SRM-4, and the result was that the Huntsman was missing the piloting check and fell. The Stinger was shooting the Elementals and hitting with a machine gun, and the Thunderbolt was hitting the Elementals with a large laser. The Stinger hopped next to the Huntsman. The Huntsman tried to stand up, but first it fell back. The second time he managed to stand up. The Elementals were shooting the Thunderbolt and hitting with an SRM. The Gnomes were shooting the Orion with the SRM and hitting it. The Ebon Jaguar was shooting the Crusader and only hitting with the LB-5X. The Crusader shooting back on the Ebon Jaguar and hitting with 2 LRM-15, and there was one center torso crit which managed to cause a double engine hit.
Damage critical.
The Stinger was shooting the Huntsman and damaging it with a machine gun. The Thunderbolt was also shooting the Huntsman and hitting with 3 medium laser and 1 machine gun, and the machine gun was a center crit and managed to do a gyro damage. And the Orion was also shooting the Huntsman and managed to score a hit with an AC-10. And in total, due to the gyro hit, the Huntsman fell, and eventually the Sharks decided to withdraw from the combat due to the poor battle performance.